Reservoir was formed in 2003 by 4 guys who really wanted to make a difference in the industry. So it was about technology, it was also a bit about the exciting industry they were in. So game-changing technology is actually why Reservoir was formed.
Reservoir operates in a few key areas, UK, that is our home base, and Norway, and then the Americas, in particular the US and Brazil, West Africa and the Far East, and namely Australia.
Our main markets have been predominantly in the North Sea and the Norwegian sectors, but as we have built up our case histories, our reputation, we're now reaching out to other fields.
Remote open close technology is the ability literally to operate things at a distance without any physical connection to it. So for instance, in conventional wells, you quite often do a lot of work which is sort of wireline related work, where you run plugs and prongs to seal off, for instance, the production tubing itself. That in turn allows you to pressure test against those. But of course it requires an intervention to do that, in fact several interventions in many cases. And that always carries an amount of risk. It certainly involves rig time as well.
The technology is very flexible. It allows our customers to put a barrier in place or remove it at any time, just in a matter of minutes, versus hours.
The most unique thing about remote open close technology products are the fact that you don't have to connect to them in hardware terms. So you can install a product either through an intervention run or through a completion run, then you can talk to it no matter how deep it is in the well.
The customers we are speaking to really see value in what our technology can bring them, because it is aimed at reducing risks and saving rig time.
ERED is a downhole computerized valve.
I think ERED's a great example where we actually listened to clients right at the start. We had a more simple tool which gave you perhaps 30% of the value, say, of ERED. And we thought this was great. You know, it still is a great tool and people still use it. But they were actually saying, well, imagine if you could do this and you could open it and close it and open and close it, what a difference that would make. And the end game after 3 years of development was ERED. So selling it really became easy in so much that the imagine if was now a reality.
The difference between the ERED and the ERED FB is the ERED FB is a tubing mounted equivalent, run as a permanent installation as part of the completion string.
Because of the success that we'd had with ERED, there were requests, to actually look if you could make basically a larger version of it, which would be a tubing mounted device, in other words, part of the well completion. So as a result of that, it seems again a very natural progression just to expand that up, and it's scaling it up in effect. There was an immediately obvious market for it. We had the technological expertise, we had the people in-house, the test facilities.
We are now removing welling completely out of the work programme. We don't have to worry about manual handling, the risk associated with rigging up and deploying welling.
Powerball is a reservoir isolation barrier, so it protects the reservoir from any damage during the completion phase. Very similar approach again, it uses, at the heart of it again, is remote open close technology. We designed the system where most of the vast majority of the operating mechanism is actually deployed below the ball. Gravity will allow the debris to settle on top of the ball. So any mechanism that's above the ball is subject to the debris build-up. If it's all below the ball, then of course it never sees any debris. Testing is very extensive, so you've got functionality testing of the system to prove the concept, and ISO testing again to prove that it meets industry standards. It's important that design engineers, when they do develop products, that they actually develop with reliability in mind, and that's very evident in the work that we've done today, and you can see it in the reliability levels we've achieved.
We have a quality management system in place to look after the quality of the products that we deliver to our clients. The training is key. We rely on individuals at the end of the day to do the right thing at the right time, follow procedures, ensure checks are completed and testing is carried out as expected.
We really operate in a partnership relation with the customer. We are there to solve their problems, and I have to say this is really appreciated, and the continuous success we have with our customers prove that.
It's going to be game changing, you know, it's going to bring a new dimension to how completions are run, and even how they are, you know, worked over in the years to come.
If we minimise runs into wells, then we minimise risk to the client, so that is the biggest selling factor for the product.